This man has been in movies, Cider House Rules, A Walk to Remember What We Do in Secret, a man who grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and now his TV show, Salem, can be seen on WGN, at Shane West on Twitter, at The Rich Eisen Show here right now. Good to see you, Shane.
Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Did you get a chance to see Jim Brown before he left, or no?
Not to meet him in person, no.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a shame with such a legend.
That's the GOAT right there.
I know.
Right?
I know. I saw yesterday that he was going to be on the show, and then when we got whisked in here, it just didn't really have the time. And
yeah.
I think they whisked him away before I had a chance to
Yeah,
say hi
that's what
anyway.
we do here. We whisk.
Just whisk.
We
a lot
whisk.
of whisking.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of whisking here. So you are you're a Saints fan.
Yes.
That goes without saying,
Have
correct?
to be.
You have to be. Is that you're born into it there?
You're born into it, and for so many years, probably its entire franchise, you were born into it whether you wanted to be or not.
Sure.
When it was the Aints or whatever it might have been.
Right.
But I've been very fortunate that they turned that entire program around.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, I mean, Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
That's right.
Were you surprised that Jimmy Graham got traded away? Was that something that shocked you?
In this day and age, no.
Okay.
But I've been a fan of Peyton. I've been a fan of Loomis. I'm a fan of their organization right now and how they're handling things. So until I figured out what we were going to get in the draft and if Unger was hurt or not hurt and like whatever we were going to get for that down the road,
Yeah.
I don't really want to, I was too afraid to get upset until we see how the season plays out or the future plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Loomis's roles are expanding now because when they were talking about hiring Alvin Gentry as the coach of the Pelicans,
Right.
and I read in the paper that Loomis was involved in the conversations because he's Tom Benson's guy for the Pelicans too. It's just like, oh, that's right.
They're taking over that city.
They're taking it over.
Yes, that's right.
That sort of square block where everything is.
Right.
In downtown
But
New
no,
Orleans.
here's the crazy. I mean, I've never even been to a Saints game. I wanted to go.
Is that
but
right?
I've never been.
So you grew up in Baton Rouge,
which is still about an hour and a half away.
So you've never been.
But no.
Have you ever been inside the Superdome at all, in any way, shape, or form? No kidding.
But I've walked around it. I've driven by it a million times. I think we've used their parking a million times.
I'm sure.
But because in a way you have to. But no, actually, I've only been to two NFL games ever.
Okay.
And they were not in the United States.
Okay.
I've seen 3 Buffalo Bills home games in Toronto.
Okay.
When I was working on Nikita in Toronto for 4 years.
Okay, because I was about to say, I was about to inform you that Buffalo is part of the United States
yes,
of America.
No, I went to their home games.
Okay, they were home games
in Toronto.
In Scott, I'm sure.
Yeah, and
or the
then
Rogers Center.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And then I went to Wembley Stadium this past year with the Falcons.
The Falcons and the Lions.
The Lions, which ended up being a good game.
It was a blowout, and then not so much.
And then not so much.
At the very end.
I had never been to Wembley Stadium, but those are my only NFL experiences, and I've been a huge football fan all my life.
And it's incredible. I've been, with the NFL Network since 2003, and I've never seen a football game outside of the United
States.
So if you combine our experiences, we are the greatest NFL fan in the history of
that's right.
the history of football. I'm here with Shane West of the TV show Salem on WGN Sundays at 10 p.m. That's in the second season. Well, I'll ask you about that in a moment. So, so that means you're a big Les Miles guy or not? The Mad Hatter is your type of guy, or he is not?
I am.
At LSU?
He's my type of guy. He drives.
He's nutty.
Mad.
He's nutty.
Yes, he
He's
is.
nutty.
Yeah, absolutely. But LSU. I mean, that's one of the great things that we have in the state of Louisiana. We don't really have that in-state rivalry.
Okay.
Like we don't have Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. We don't have Auburn against Alabama. It's kind of LSU or bust. It's not LSU-Tulane isn't exactly the biggest rivalry in the world. So you kind of root for LSU predominantly in the state of Louisiana, but you can root for La Tech and Tulane and everyone else. And it's kind of, so you're kind of all on board. And I enjoy that. We loved Nick Saban, of course. And, that was not a good ending. So everybody's happy with Miles to an extent. We got a national championship, but we need to see if we can get another one. But we have to figure out that quarterback situation.
And man, they are sending some serious professionals to the National Football League with Patrick Peterson.
That's right.
You've got Beckham, you've got
Badger.
Landry, you've got all of these guys that come and makes you think, how in the world aren't they winning a championship every year?
Well, that goes also to the thing is the recruiting process top notch? Clearly we are getting these wonderful athletes, but why is it difficult with such a dominant defense over the years that we can't find that quarterback that can the ultimate quarterback, so to speak?
So let's talk Salem right now, which shoots in Louisiana.
That's right. Yeah,
So
Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's where a lot of, I think Pitch Perfect 2 shot in Shreveport. Everybody's going to Shreveport.
Yeah,
these
I believe
days.
so. That's where one of our LSU, Brandon Harris, one of the starting quarterbacks, is from Bossier City, which is essentially Shreveport.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot coming from Shreveport.
So that's neat that you're going back to your home state to shoot this TV show.
Yeah, no, it's the first time. First time. I've been doing this for about 15 years. I've never been able to film in Louisiana. It was kind of a running joke between my family that was never going to happen. But now it finally did.
So what about this show that you really like? What is it about Salem, this whole experience that you like?
It's the world of the supernatural and the world of horror and thriller. I've always been a fan of watching films, series, anything like that, but I'd never really been a part of.
Yes.
So this is my first time, and being able to do it near my hometown, still a 4-hour drive away, but in my home state, is kind of a dream come true. I had just finished Nikita, wasn't sure if I wanted to go into another series, but I couldn't say no to playing this type of character, this essentially the first all-American hero in the colonies, and to be able to have this awesome horror element to it just kind of makes you like a kid again every day you're on set.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're on WGN, a super station, so to speak, and I've been told that you're an Atlanta Braves fan.
I am.
And is that because? And I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together here.
Okay.
Because Marshall Falk is from your neck of the woods. He's a
right.
New Orleanian.
All right.
Or New Orleans guy.
Even knew how to,
And he's a Braves fan because there was no baseball team in town, and the TBS Superstation, he became a Braves fan because of that.
That's exactly how it happened for me.
No kidding.
You didn't have much choice. I would love to see the state of Louisiana get a baseball team. I think that they would enjoy it, but we didn't have any choice. It was the Houston Astros or the Atlanta Braves at the time.
Sure.
I don't know why no one talked about the Texas Rangers at the time, but it was the Braves or the Astros, and I chose the Braves. I was a big Dale Murphy fan, Ken Griffey Sr. fan, and they were in dead last place. And I got to root for them, and no one helped me root them on until '91, and they changed everything around.
Where is your Louisiana accent? Where does it reside? Deep in there? Where is it?
It comes back when I go back, and it actually probably made times of filming on Salem a problem.
Okay.
But I left when I was in like 5th grade.
Okay.
My family's still there. My dad, my grandparents, my little sister.
So do they sound? Did they have the accent?
They have a pretty thick accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes and goes, but it's mainly just mumbling. Just mumbling. I had to get out of that when I was 17. Well, I mean, a lot of times it's just putting things together. Didn't Jeff Foxworthy do like a whole thing on just kind of putting an entire sentence together into one word? I think it's a beautiful, lazy way of speaking, and I love it. But it takes me a while to get back into it.
Okay, so you can't just like snap your fingers.
No. If it's around me, I can snap my fingers.
See, I'm from New York City.
Okay.
And when I started doing this job, first and foremost in a local market up in Redding, California, about 12 hours north of here, I would say the word tournament.
Oh.
NCAA tournament.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And people were like saying that, no, you can't call it a tournament. Well, I'm like, well, that's what I grew up listening. So it's tournament. You know, I had to sort of de-New Yorkify my voice. Yeah, it's a tournament.
Yeah.
You know, the NCAA tournament.
I kind of like hear it as tournament.
Yeah. So, but I had to stop doing that. But snap of a finger, cut me off in traffic. It's there.
It's back.
Oh,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any moment like that for you.
I think anger seems to get it back. I think that might be a common thread. I think when you let everything loose and you just kind of go after it. I think it's a very. I think it's your surroundings. Does it work for you when you go back home?
Oh, sure.
I mean, or they force you to kind of.
Yeah. Well, no.
Force the accent right back in.
It's like slipping into an old shoe. It's
Right.
like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike. You know what I'm saying? Forget about it. I go back there. I go back there, and it's just like Richie from the neighborhood.
From the hood.
I make it sound like I grew up on a Bronx tale. I grew up in Staten Island, New York.
You're like, all right.
Yeah, I know. Shane West, WGN's Salem second season airs Sundays at 10 p.m. on WGN. At Shane West on Twitter. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Yeah, come back during the season. We'll talk Saints football.
I'd love to.
We'll do that. Shane West is here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.